All right. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Advisory Committee meeting for the delivery of alcoholic beverages direct to a consumer. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules this afternoon to join us. My name is Nicole Blase, and I am the Rules Coordinator for the OLCC. I will go over a few housekeeping notes before we get started. Today's meeting is being recorded. Please ensure that your phone or computer is muted unless you are speaking. Only invited committee members will be a part of today's conversation. Members were selected due to their level of interest or position within the community. With that in mind, we ask that each of you serve as goodwill ambassadors to the discussion so that you may represent your constituency professionally. Please be courteous to other committee members so that we don't have multiple participants trying to speak at once. You may use the raise hand function in Teams, or if you are calling in, please interject when appropriate and we will call on you in order. Non-committee members will be able to tender comments during the public comment period. Committee members, please state your first and last name when you make a comment. We will go ahead and get started. Today is Friday, March 15th at approximately 1:30 p.m. Thank you for joining us today. Many of you are familiar with the rulemaking process, but for those of you who have not yet had the opportunity, or for those listening in, I will begin by saying a few words about our rulemaking process and the purpose of advisory committee meetings. The purpose of an advisory committee is to increase the public's involvement in the drafting and development of administrative rules. The Oregon Legislature, through its enactment of the Administrative Procedures Act, ORS Chapter 183, stresses the critical importance of the public's participation in policy development. Advisory committees are an excellent way to solicit input from internal and external stakeholders who are likely to be impacted by the development or amendment of agency policy and rule. Consequently, advisory committee invitees may include licensees, permittees, industry representatives, OLCC staff, members of law enforcement, local government, the public, local community organizations, small businesses, and other interested stakeholders. The purpose of having all of the members on this committee today is to hear from different parts of the industry and public health and safety partners. The Commission strives to hear from all interested parties. Our role today will be to explain the background and context of these rules and the changes that are being proposed in this package. We will provide facilitation to ensure that all committee members can provide input today. Under Oregon's public meeting law, this meeting is open to the public and members of the public are free to observe our discussion, but may not offer comment. The agency will digitally record this advisory committee meeting and will produce and circulate a record of our discussion. However, because this meeting is intended to promote the open exchange of ideas, we will maintain an informal atmosphere and meeting minutes will record only the topics discussed and the main points made. Approximately 1 week after our meeting, we will post and distribute the meeting's audio. I will now move on to introductions. I will have some of our OLCC staff introduce themselves, and then I will go through the list of RAC members who RSVP'd, and then any other RAC members who are joining us today. Again, I'm Nicole Blase, and I'm the Rules Coordinator with the OLCC. I'll start with those in the room today. Nicole Mitchell, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Nicole Mitchell, and I'm currently working as a liquor policy analyst here.
Hi, Danelle Romaine with the Oregon Beer and Wine Distributors Association.
Dan Miner, liquor agent. Brian Haley, public records manager.
Thank you. Are there any other OLCC staff on the call that would like to introduce themselves?
Hi, Danica Foster, Director of Licensing.
Heidi Anderson, Liquor Licensing Manager.
Chris Vossen, Liquor Licensing Assistant Manager.
Andy Jurek, Director of Alcohol Compliance.
Randy Hancock, Alcohol Liquor Compliance Technician.
Anybody else from OLCC? If everyone could be kind enough to mute their microphones, please, today.
This is Matthew Van Sickle, Public Information Officer.
Thanks, Matt. I'll go through the list of, oh, sorry, go ahead, Arno. I didn't see you there.
Oh. Yeah, thank you. Arnaud Simon, OLCC Public Health Policy Analyst. Thank you.
Thanks, Arno. I will go through the list of RAC members. We have Janelle Romaine here. Jeff Giametta.
Yes, hi, Jeff Giametta from Davis Wright Tremaine.
Thanks, Jeff. Tom Burklow. Mia Noren.
Hi, Mia Noren here as the Legislative Director of the Northwest Grocery Association.
Thank you, Mia. Nicole Palmatier Hasselbecker.
Hi, Nicole Palmatier Hazelbaker here on behalf of Uber.
Thanks, Nicole. Allison Peck.
Hi, this is Alice Peck with Uber.
J.R. Starrett. Mark Smith.
Mark Smith with Ship.
Thanks, Mark. Danielle D'Alessandro. Tyler Blackney.
Hi, everyone. Tyler Blackney with Amazon.
Thanks, Tyler.
I'm
Gary
so
Engel?
sorry. This is Danielle D'Alessandro. I'm with GoPuff. Apologies for missing my name.
Oh, thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
Gary Engler.
Gary Engler, Salem Police Department.
Thanks, Gary. William Davis. All right, we have Dan Miner here. And then is there anybody else, invited RAC members that did not RSVP that are joining us today?
Hi, this is Anna Powell with DoorDash.
Thank you, Anna.
Hi, this is Tom Burklow with Oregon Distillers Guild in New Deal. I just logged in.
Oh, thanks, Tom. Great. Any other RAC members on the line? All right, we will go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to the OLCC staff. We have Nicole Mitchell here, who's going to be starting us off today, and all of the temporary language from last October and the agenda were circulated. If anybody still needs a copy of those, please let me know. I am going to share my screen and bring up the summary of topics that we are going to cover today. All right, Nicole Mitchell, I'm going to have you take it away.
Thank you, and thank you all for joining us today. The main purpose of meeting with you all is just to review, as you know, the current temporary rule language with the passage of House Bill 3308, and to get feedback from the industry on crafting permanent rule language. There are four main topics that we'd like to cover today. Those are just the first one, feedback from RAC members on the temporary rules. I think we'll spend the most time on this one and hearing from you all what's working, what's not working, if there are any areas for improvement. The second topic is the annual fee for the third-party delivery facilitator permit with passage of House Bill 4138 and the amendments to ORS 471534. The OLCC has received the statutory authority to impose a fee for the permit, and we'd like to get feedback on that. Third topic is just making sure we're bringing in the retail sales agent and distillery outlet agents into the conversation to discuss the existing delivery and shipping privileges for both of those agents. And last, we'd like to just propose tentative dates for holding a second RAC, which at that point we hope to have incorporated all the feedback from this RAC and would have the proposed draft language for the permanent rules at that time. So Getting started on the first topic, wanted to open the conversation on numbers. What are your concerns? What's working?
Is there anybody on the call that would like to provide feedback?
Well, is this feedback on how the rules set up last year are working? This is Tom Berklow at Oregon Distillers Guild.
Yes, Tom, that is correct. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah, we're looking at the current temporary rule language and getting
Well,
feedback.
I would say that this is just from what I can tell is like no third party person knows how to do it. And so there's nobody for spirits, and I'm referring spirits. It seems like no one is able to set up to be this. We have one company I've seen do it, and that's about it. So there's not, it's clearly, and I know the Ubers and the DoorDashes of the world talk about it, but they don't do it. So whatever's happening now is not creating third-party delivery services for us.
Can you provide a little bit more background on what your current operations look like for delivery?
Well, we did some self-delivery, but that's too burdensome for us. And then there is one company that I know of that does it, but it seems like if this system was better understood, there might be more than one company that actually attempts to provide third-party delivery. I don't see the big picture. I just see that no one, people I talk to just don't seem to be able to set this up.
Okay. Can you?
And I don't know, maybe you guys know, like how many people are actually registered with the OLCC to provide third-party delivery?
I just looked at the numbers, and from what I'm seeing, there are currently 11 approved third-party delivery facilitators.
Okay.
It appears that the training program, I'm not positive on this. I'd have to confirm with other staff who may be able to do that who are online right now. It looks like there's one training program that has been approved. And so really interested in hearing about that from the companies. What has your experience been with working with the agency on getting the training programs approved? Just hearing from you guys on that.
Any feedback from anybody? Should we move to the next topic, or does anybody have? Dan?
Hey, Tom, Dan Miner here. I'm a liquor agent, and I understood from Craig Prince that residential delivery of distilled spirits was still specifically not permitted. But I'm not sure if maybe distilleries through your tasting rooms have different sets of rules than what the liquor stores have.
My understanding is the retail sales agents are different than the retail distillery agents. They're much different, and there is room for delivery from their staff. And they're, I believe, also able to, their staff are also able to collect payment at a different location. That's not to say that they're able to use a third-party delivery facilitator that they're not included in that package. They're not eligible, just like the retail sales agents aren't. I know most retail sales agents have the liquor stores, and then they have the O license, right, in the same place. And so that's what makes it a little bit complicated. I think that might be some of the confusion, because you can, an O license can use a third-party delivery facilitator to conduct sales. Correct. But not distilled liquor. Retail sales agents, on the other hand, are not able to use their staff to make sales outside of the store.
Yeah, and to that end, I just put in the chat, you'll see our webpage that clarifies this.
Alright.
Any other feedback from RAC members on the temp rules?
I can say that I believe OLCC staff was a little surprised in the numbers of applications that have come in. We were expecting a little bit more applications, and just curious on your guys' thoughts why that may be. We've heard things in the industry.
You can't do these on Friday.
Yeah, folks, we're gonna keep moving if no one has any feedback.
Yeah, I think it's.
Hey, this is Anna Powell with DoorDash. I'll just say that I believe we've submitted our training. I think it's approved. But I have heard from our team that's done the submission here of all of the materials that we've been receiving pretty good responses and feedback. So they didn't have anything for me to share today, but I can circle back up and just make sure that that's all gone smoothly.
That would be helpful. I mean, I think it's important for everyone on the call to realize that if we don't get feedback during this time about, you know, we're telling you that we want to see more and understand more from the market about how this is going to work. And if we don't get feedback now, it's hard for us to hone the program better for businesses that are trying to use this service. Because I'll say for years, we've heard from the hospitality industry of the move away from brick and mortar and more delivery based. So when we're moving into this, we're trying to work with the market to provide this avenue, in a safe way, and we'll get to those other parameters on it. But if we don't hear the reality and the overarching issues, it's hard for us to make the program work better. So that's why we're going to hold a second rack on this as well. Once we hear, this initial stuff, and we did this in temporary to begin with, as Tom pointed out at the beginning, so that we could get it off the ground, and then work through the spring and get it more honed, so we can go on the final rulemaking this summer.
And if you guys have feedback later on, feel free to chime in anytime. But we can move on to the next item on our summary, the annual fee for the third-party delivery facilitator permit. Originally, we had in the first rack back before we decided to go the route of temporary rulemaking, we had proposed a $500 fee. And so we have House Bill 4138 now. It's been passed, and the agency does have the authority. So looking for any feedback on the fee. I think in discussions with the agency, they thought in part it was reasonable given the other cost of other licenses like the O and limited. It was somewhere kind of in the middle.
Hi, this is Anna again with DoorDash. Hey, sorry, I'm filling in for our normal alcohol policy person. Can you remind me what's the fee, and is that for the platforms to cover, or is that a fee on the driver?
Great question.
I believe it's on the platforms, right?
Yeah, so it's for the application and the annual fee.
Sure. Okay.
On the third-party delivery facilitator companies like DoorDash would pay that annual fee. There is also another fee associated with review and approval of the training program. That in the temporary rule has been set at $250 because we did actually have the authority to impose a fee for that in House Bill 3308.
Great, that's what I thought. Okay, great, thank you.
Hi, and this is Danielle.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Anna, go ahead.
Nope, no, I'm all done. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, Danielle from GoPuff. I'm going to kind of echo Anna as well. I am covering for a colleague that is out on paternity leave. That being said, I'll just say after reading through the temporary rules, really no concerns, no comments. Agree that the fee is reasonable, and even the fee for submitting approved training for the department. So that's another reason why you probably won't hear a whole lot of comments coming from me. Is I did review and they look pretty good. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Good to hear.
Yeah, and sorry again, just confirming, same with, I think, again, our process has been, we've gotten good feedback. I do have one question, and if I can ask it about the permit that the driver is required to carry, the certificate, of completion. I think our team was looking for a little clarity. I think they were assuming that that was okay if that were an electronic version of that certificate, as opposed to having to have like a physical paper copy in their hand. And I think they were just looking for a little clarity on that, but I don't know if that's something that we should assume or you guys could provide.
So my understanding, I mean, ideally it would be a paper form, but there's no requirement, I think, to hold it on your person at all times. The way the rules are written is that if it ever comes into question, the agency or any law enforcement officer would be able to audit and request that information, and they have a certain amount of time to provide that so that the agency can verify, because they're going to want to verify regardless of the paper that they would have on their person, but certainly would be best practice to have a paper copy available with them at all times.
Okay, I'll take that back to our team, see if they have any further comments.
Does anyone at OLCC have further comment on that or want to clarify anything?
Yeah, Nicole, Andy Jurek, Director of Compliance. Best practice would be to have a paper permit, but we will accept and check, if it's digital on your phone, it's fine. We just need to be able to follow up, like Nicole stated, to check the records to verify that at a later date.
Great, thanks.
I mean, and obviously the, Oregon law requires an ID, so that would certainly be something that they would need.
Yeah, this is Danielle from DoorDash, or from GoPuff. I guess I would ask, I didn't really see anywhere in the temporary rules where there's a requirement that the delivery person keep that on them. I see, they make a delivery person certificate. The facilitator permittee will make a delivery person certificate of completion available upon request. But I'm not seeing where, the delivery person themselves need to keep that on them.
Yeah, I think
This is Danica Foster, Director of Licensing. You are correct. It is not a requirement in our rules that they have to keep it on their person. That was feedback that we got even before going to the temporary rulemaking. I think what other staff are trying to say is that we recommend it as best practices so that it's easier for if there's a reason to be engaging with our staff or law enforcement, but and then digital or paper would be fine. But we require just the follow up after the fact.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, any last feedback on this topic? Thoughts? All right.
So next item is existing delivery and shipping privileges for retail sales agent and distillery outlet agents. We touched upon that a little bit in the beginning, but I want to try and spend some time here if you all have thoughts on this topic.
I don't have anything to add if there's no change.
Okay.
But when it says retail sales agent, you're talking specifically about OLCC liquor agents, not a retailer in general.
Correct. Yes, thank you. Yep.
Differentiation. Right.
Well, is there any differentiation between a retail sales agent using privileges on their off-premise license compared to another retailer that has an off-premise license?
No, just the,
And why are we being,
well, it's just a limitation of beer, wine and cider because of the off-premise. The operating under, that's the privilege there. Spirits aren't under the off-premises license.
But they still are able to use for hire carriers to ship after purchases made in store, is my understanding. Is that something you guys use?
for distilled spirits?
Yes.
The only, there may be an exception, but I'm only aware that we would do either self-delivery or for hire delivery for on-premise licensing business that we do. I don't even know that I've ever had a case, an instance where a customer came in the store, bought alcohol and even distilled spirits and even requested that we deliver it to a residence. I mean, I'm aware that we could do that, but they wouldn't like my fees.
Gotcha.
That's your own business in that. I'll just look back.
Any feedback from anybody joining us virtually about existing delivery and shipping privileges for retail sales agent and distillery agents? All right. The last thing on our summary of topics to cover is discussion on holding our second RAC. It looks like we have a couple dates, April 10th through 12th. Nicole, do you have any other additional information to add to that?
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, I think, I mean, if you guys have ideas after today and want to submit them, any comments, thoughts, we're more than happy to take a look at that and incorporate that into language that we hope to have for you guys at the second RAC. And just wanting to know, what are the dates of April 10th through the 12th look like? Does anyone have a preference?
We are going to try to not have one on a Friday afternoon next time. So maybe the 10th or 11th. We'll circulate and chat with folks and see if there's enough feedback and what other topics that we might need to discuss at the next RAC. So we will keep everybody in the loop for the second RAC around that date. We will do it again in person, and maybe next time we'll have a little better turnout in person. But I wanted to thank everyone for joining us today. I did circulate our fiscal impact statement with the meeting materials. Does anybody have any comments or would like to expand on the fiscal impact? I haven't received any of those forms back, but if there's anybody who wants to chat about that on the line. Okay, well, we will accept those forms over the next couple of weeks. So if after that meeting you think you might have some additional feedback on the fiscal impact, definitely fill that form out and we will accept them and put them into the permanent rulemaking record. Is there any additional last minute feedback, topics, conversations, questions, concerns about alcohol delivery today? All right, well, I guess we'll let everybody enjoy this beautiful afternoon. I want to thank everyone so much for joining us today and providing your feedback and your expertise on these issues. Over the next couple of weeks, we will have more information on, of course, the second RAC and then the public hearing and the rest of the rulemaking process that we encourage everybody to participate in. As always, if you have any thoughts after this meeting concludes, definitely reach out to us and we will do our best to get answers for you if you have questions. And yeah, so thank you everyone for joining and let us know if you have any questions and we will be in touch about the next upcoming meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.